Listen to me very carefully right now. Everything you have been told about motivation is a lie. Every single motivational video you have watched, every inspirational quote you have saved, every time you waited to feel ready, to feel inspired, to feel that surge of energy before you took action, all of it, a complete lie. And this lie is destroying your life while you smile and nod along, believing that one day, somehow, you will finally feel motivated enough to change. Carl Jung understood something that most people die without ever realizing. Motivation is not the cause of action. It is the result of action. You have the entire equation backwards. You are sitting there, scrolling through your phone, waiting to feel motivated before you start, waiting for that perfect emotional state, waiting for inspiration to strike like lightning. And while you wait, your dreams are rotting. Your potential is wasting. Your life is slipping away one unmotivated day at a time. Here is the truth that will either free you or offend you. You will never feel ready. You will never feel inspired enough. You will never have that magical moment where everything aligns and you suddenly become the person you have been pretending you want to be. Because that moment does not exist. It is a fantasy. It is a defense mechanism your ego uses to keep you comfortable, to keep you safe, to keep you exactly where you are right now. And if you continue believing this lie, if you continue waiting for motivation to rescue you, you will wake up 5 years from now in exactly the same place, with exactly the same excuses, wondering where all your time went. But before I show you what actually works, before I reveal the 5 truths that will replace the motivation lie forever, do me one favor. If you are tired of waiting, if you are ready to stop lying to yourself, subscribe to CJ Legacy right now. Because this channel does not give you comfortable lies. This channel gives you the psychological truth that actually transforms your life. Subscribe and let me show you what nobody else will tell you. Now listen. The first truth that replaces motivation is this. Discipline is the only real currency that matters, not inspiration, not feelings, not waiting until you are in the mood. Discipline, cold, unglamorous, boring discipline. Jung saw that the ego craves pleasure, comfort, and approval. It will do anything to avoid discomfort. And motivation is the ego's favorite drug. It feels good. It makes you feel powerful for a moment. You watch a motivational video and you feel like you can conquer the world. For about 12 minutes, then it fades, and you are back where you started, waiting for the next hit. Discipline does not care about your feelings. Discipline does not wait for inspiration. Discipline says you do the work whether you feel like it or not. You wake up early whether you slept well or not. You go to the gym whether you are energized or exhausted. You write the next page whether inspiration showed up or stayed home. This is not glamorous. This will not make you feel like a hero. But this is what separates the people who transform their lives from the people who just talk about transforming their lives. Your ego hates discipline because discipline exposes the lie that says you need special conditions to take action, the lie that says you need to feel a certain way before you can begin, the lie that keeps you trapped in endless preparation, endless planning, endless waiting for a feeling that will never arrive. Discipline destroys that lie. Discipline says the only condition you need is the decision to act. Right now, not later. Not when you feel ready. Now, start building discipline today, not tomorrow, today. Choose one thing, one specific action that you have been avoiding because you were waiting to feel motivated. Maybe it is working out. Maybe it is starting that business. Maybe it is having that difficult conversation. Maybe it is finally sitting down to write, to create, to build something meaningful. Choose one thing and do it today before you feel ready. Before inspiration arrives, do it scared, do it tired, do it unmotivated, because the act of doing it without motivation is what builds the psychological strength you actually need. And here is what nobody tells you. Once you take action, motivation shows up afterwards, not before, afterwards. You start writing even though you do not feel like it, and after 15 minutes, ideas start flowing. You go to the gym even though you feel exhausted, and after 10 minutes, energy starts building. You make the sales call even though you feel terrified, and after you do it, confidence starts growing. Motivation is the reward for action, not the requirement for action. Get this backwards, and you waste your entire life waiting. The second truth is this: your shadow is controlling you through the motivation lie. Jung taught that whatever you refuse to acknowledge in yourself becomes your shadow, and your shadow controls you from the unconscious. When you say you are waiting for motivation, what you are really saying is that you are afraid of failure, afraid of success, afraid of being seen, afraid of discovering that you are not as talented as you hoped, afraid of the work, afraid of the commitment, afraid of what it will cost you to actually become who you claim you want to be. But you cannot admit this fear to yourself. That would damage your self-image. So instead, you say you are waiting for motivation. You say you are not inspired yet. You say the timing is not right. And your ego feels safe because you have protected yourself from the truth. You have protected yourself from the fear. But that protection is a prison. That safety is stagnation. And every day you refuse to face your shadow, every day you hide behind the motivation lie, you become more fragmented, more disconnected, more enslaved to patterns you do not even recognize. Stop lying to yourself right now. Stop pretending you are waiting for motivation. Admit what you are actually afraid of. Say it out loud. Write it down. Look at it directly. I am afraid of failing. I am afraid people will judge me. I am afraid I am not good enough. I am afraid of being disappointed. I am afraid of wasting my time. Whatever it is, name it. Because once you name it, once you drag it out of the unconscious and into the light, it loses its power over you. Your shadow thrives in darkness. It thrives in denial. It thrives when you refuse to look at it. But the moment you acknowledge it, the moment you integrate it, it transforms from an enemy into an ally. Your fear does not disappear, but it stops controlling you. You learn to act despite the fear. You learn that fear is information, not a command. You learn that feeling afraid and taking action anyway is not courage overcoming weakness. It is integration overcoming fragmentation. Here is the third truth, and pay close attention, because this will save you years of wasted effort. Stop consuming motivation and start creating momentum. Most people are addicted to motivational content. They watch video after video. They read quote after quote. They listen to podcast after podcast. And they feel inspired, they feel pumped up, they feel ready to change their life. And then they do absolutely nothing, because consuming motivation is not the same as taking action. Consuming motivation is a substitute for taking action. It gives you the emotional payoff without the actual work. Jung would call this a form of psychological masturbation. You are pleasuring yourself with the fantasy of change while avoiding the discomfort of real change. You are spending hours consuming content about transformation instead of spending hours actually transforming. And your ego loves this because it gets to feel productive without actually being productive. It gets to feel like you are working on yourself without the risk, without the effort, without the possibility of failure. Stop it right now. Stop watching endless motivational content. Stop reading endless self-help books. Stop collecting inspiration like it is going to save you. It will not save you. Only action saves you. Only momentum saves you. And momentum is built through small, consistent, unglamorous actions repeated daily until they become who you are. Start with something so small you cannot fail. Not a massive goal. Not a complete life overhaul. Something tiny. 5 push-ups, writing 1 paragraph, making 1 sales call, reading 10 pages, meditating for 3 minutes, something so small that even on your worst day, even when you feel completely unmotivated, you can still do it. And then do it every single day. No exceptions, no negotiations, no waiting for motivation. This is how you build momentum, not through big dramatic changes that last 3 days, but through tiny consistent actions that compound over months and years. Because here is what happens. You do 5 push-ups today even though you do not feel like it. Tomorrow it is still 5 push-ups, still easy, still manageable. But after 2 weeks, 5 push-ups feels automatic. So you add 1 more, then another, and 6 months later, you are doing 50 push-ups every morning and you cannot remember the last time you needed motivation to do it. Because it is no longer about motivation, it is about identity. You are someone who does push-ups. That is just who you are now. Momentum is the real magic, not motivation. Momentum carries you forward even on days when you feel terrible. Momentum makes the work easier, not because the work changed, but because you changed. Momentum transforms discipline into identity. And once something becomes your identity, you do not need motivation anymore. You just do it because that is who you are. If you are starting to see how deep this lie goes, if you are starting to realize how much time you have wasted waiting for motivation, subscribe to CJ Legacy right now. Hit that subscribe button, because every single video on this channel is designed to strip away the lies and show you the psychological truth that actually works. Do not just watch and leave. Subscribe, commit to your own transformation. The fourth truth is this: motivation is an emotional state, and emotional states are temporary. Always, you cannot build a life on temporary emotional states. You cannot build success on feelings that come and go. You cannot build transformation on inspiration that shows up randomly and disappears without warning. Jung understood that the psyche moves through cycles. Sometimes you feel energized. Sometimes you feel depleted. Sometimes you feel inspired. Sometimes you feel empty. This is normal. This is natural. This is how the human psyche works. But here is the problem. If you only take action when you feel motivated, you only make progress during the temporary peaks of emotional energy. And the rest of the time, which is most of the time, you do nothing. You wait. You consume more motivational content hoping to recreate that feeling. And your life stays exactly the same because you have made your progress dependent on an emotional state that you cannot control and cannot sustain. Successful people, truly successful people, do not rely on motivation. They rely on systems. They rely on routines. They rely on commitments that exist independently of how they feel. They understand that feelings are weather. Sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, but the work continues regardless of the weather, because the work is not about feelings. The work is about results. The work is about becoming someone different than who you are today. And that transformation requires consistency, not intensity. Build systems that do not require motivation. Schedule your workouts at the same time every day, right at the same time every morning. Make your sales calls at the same time every afternoon. Remove the decision, remove the negotiation, remove the need to feel motivated. Just show up, do the work, move forward, whether you feel like it or not. Whether inspiration showed up or stayed home, whether you are energized or exhausted, the system does not care about your feelings, and that is exactly why it works. Your feelings will catch up eventually. You will start to enjoy the work. You will start to feel motivated by your progress. But that motivation is a result of the system, not the foundation of the system. Get this order right, and you become unstoppable. Get this order wrong, and you stay stuck forever, waiting for a feeling that only shows up after you have already done the work. The fifth and final truth is the most confronting. You are using the motivation lie to avoid responsibility. This is the shadow truth nobody wants to hear. When you say you are not motivated, what you are really saying is that you are not willing to pay the price. You are not willing to sacrifice comfort. You are not willing to endure discomfort. You are not willing to face the possibility that you might fail, that you might struggle, that you might not be as special as you hoped. So you hide behind motivation. You make it motivation's fault that you have not started. You make it inspiration's fault that you have not changed. You blame your emotional state instead of taking responsibility for your choices. And this is comfortable. This protects your ego. This allows you to maintain the fantasy that you would be successful if only you felt more motivated. But it is a lie, and deep down, you know it is a lie. Jung taught that accepting responsibility is the first step toward individuation, toward becoming a whole, integrated, authentic person. And responsibility means acknowledging that your life is your creation. Your results are your responsibility. Your progress is your responsibility. Your transformation is your responsibility, not motivation's responsibility, not inspiration's responsibility, not the universe's responsibility. Yours. Stop waiting, stop blaming, stop hiding behind the motivation lie. Admit the truth. You have been avoiding the work because the work is hard. You have been avoiding the commitment because commitment is scary. You have been avoiding the transformation because transformation requires you to die to who you are now so you can become who you need to be next. And that death, that letting go of your current identity, is terrifying. But it is also necessary. It is also inevitable if you want to grow. You cannot become someone new while clinging to who you are now. You cannot transform while protecting your comfort. You cannot individuate while avoiding your shadow. The work requires all of you, not the motivated version, not the inspired version, the real version, the scared, uncertain, imperfect version that shows up anyway and does the work anyway and keeps moving forward anyway. This is the truth that replaces the motivation lie. Discipline over feelings, shadow work over denial, momentum over intensity, systems over emotions, responsibility over blame. These 5 truths are not comfortable. They are not easy. They will not make you feel good about yourself, but they work. They actually work. And if you apply them, if you stop waiting for motivation and start building these truths into your daily life, everything changes. Not someday, not eventually. Now, you have a choice right now. You can close this video and go back to waiting for motivation. You can keep scrolling. You can keep consuming. You can keep lying to yourself, or you can choose differently. You can accept the truth. You can take action today. You can start building the life you have been talking about building for years. If you choose the second path, if you choose truth over comfort, subscribe to CJ Legacy right now. This channel exists to strip away the lies and show you what actually works, not what feels good, not what sounds inspiring, what actually transforms your life when you apply it consistently. Subscribe, engage with this content. Let it reshape how you think. Let it challenge your excuses. Let it push you toward the person you are capable of becoming. The motivation lie has stolen enough of your time. Stop believing it. Stop waiting for it. Stop letting it control your life. You have everything you need right now to take the next step. Not the perfect step, not the inspired step, just the next step. Take it today, before you feel ready, before motivation shows up. Take it anyway. That is how you win. That is how you transform. That is how you finally become who you were always meant to be. Now move.